Alright guys, welcome back to the LOLtv recap, where I basically recap everything that I talked about in the episode. Let's get right into it. So the first thing I talked about on this week's show was the whole Brett Favre scandal incident, and it's kind of funny to me because how many times do you have to be told no before you understand? I mean, I know the average for a guy is at least 6 times, but for Brett it's more like 15. You know, he called her on her phone, she didn't pick up, he leaves her voicemails, he goes to his neighbor's house to talk to her, he sends her emails, he sends her text messages, the infamous penis text messages, he sends her Twitters, tweets, everything. You know, like, this is like stalker status for Brett Favre, and he's a rich quarterback. It shouldn't be that hard just to get a cheerleader to like you. But then again, if it's that hard to get hard and that's all you got, whew, sorry. So the next person that I got on the show was Kanye West, and it's funny to me that in the same week Brett Favre and Kanye West would be known for doing the same thing. I mean, 2 completely unrelated people. But Kanye West, you know, very proud of himself, very cocky, very egotistical individual, took pictures of his Johnson and sent them to everybody trying to mac at girls through Facebook. And now I know for sure that Kanye West doesn't need to go through Facebook to try to get girls. I mean, you could just point at him from the crowd and get him to go backstage with that level of celebrity status. But I mean, I guess on the tour bus you're kind of bored. What do? Go to the bathroom, take a couple of dick pics and send them to some girls? Thank God I'm not on his friends list, but then again, I'm not a girl, so I probably wouldn't have seen it anyway. But what I wanted to say about it was, if I was Kanye West and I knew that there was photos of me showing off my penis to the world, and the girls that I sent them to were trying to sell them to magazines or trying to sell them to websites for the highest bidder, if I knew the photos were already out there, I would just release the photos myself for free, just so that no one else could get paid off of trying to bring me down, you know what I mean? So someone as cocky as him, I don't know why he hasn't done that already. You know, he could stop somebody from making $40,000 off of his photos that doesn't need to be getting paid, especially since they already got treated once. The next person I talked about on the show this week was none other than JWoww. I had to go with JWoww. I mean, personally, she's my favorite person on the entire Jersey Shore series. She doesn't really take shit, and she stands up for herself. And I feel bad, you know, the shit that happens to her on the show, but I love to see her get into a fight with anybody. I mean, I want to see her knock somebody clean out. And that was the case with the whole TNA action. I mean, when, you know, the slaps and stuff, they look kind of fake. But when she was like banging that girl's head into the ground, I was like, oh, JWoww, didn't you know that this is fake? You're not supposed to go at it like that. And I think the girl even was complaining and is thinking about doing some sort of lawsuit against JWoww just because of how rough and how violent she was in that whole gimmick. Whatever, you're a professional wrestler and you're complaining that somebody is really fighting you, you know, you shouldn't even have the right, you know, because professional wrestling is scripted. It's like the male soap opera, you know, but why complain? Why cause a lawsuit? You're already making money as a professional wrestler. You're on TV 3 times a week. You have your own fame, your own popularity, but JWoww comes in more famous and more popular than you, and you're gonna sue her because she really punched you. I guess, you know, wrestlers aren't used to really being punched. Oh well. So the next person I talked about in the show was our President Barack Obama. And I found it really funny that, you know, he was at a rally trying to raise awareness and trying to get some more support from the American public. And someone decided, like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw a book at this motherfucker. Like, right, just shoo. And what's even more funny is, as the book was flying towards him, he turns his head so gracefully, right at the right moment when the book was gonna hit him, or it could have been in his sight. And so, I don't know, where was his security is what I want to know. How come that person that threw the book wasn't arrested, but the guy who ran down the street naked was, who was not even close anywhere, he was nowhere near where the president was, but he was the one that got arrested. And I mean, that whole story about the streaker was even kind of funny. You know, you got a billionaire who says, okay, if you write my website across your chest and you run through the crowd naked and you get Barack Obama's attention, I'll give you $1 million. And all the guy did was strip naked and run. He got arrested before he was even close to Obama, but I think he's still gonna get the money. So if anyone wants me to streak for $1 million, you give me a time and a place and show up with a check and it'll be done. Hell, twice, because I'll probably still be amped up from the first time. I got nothing to hide. Kanye West. And the last person I talked about in the show was T.I. And T.I., you know, he's another rapper that I really like and that I have a lot of respect for. I'm really disappointed to find out that he's going to jail for violating his parole. You know, especially this quickly after he got out of jail, it was like he had just enough time to go home and kiss his wife before he committed another crime. As soon as they got in the car to go to his welcome home party, You know, they brought their paraphernalia, and that's what got them caught. It sucks because if you really think about it, half the black people that are in jail for a crime, and then the other half of the black people that are in jail because they violated the parole of that first crime that they committed. It's just like a cycle. And it really is terrible. I mean, it's not really that funny. It's funny that I'm on YouTube making jokes, but the real situation is just kind of embarrassing. You know, I feel bad for him. I hope that if he does go to jail, that he will really think about the things that he's doing with his life and the risks that he's taking. You know, because he's very positive. He's a very intellectual individual who will talk to people who are about to jump off a roof and convince them that life is better than death, which I agree, and I give him credit for that. And wanting to reach out to the youth and go to middle schools and talk to middle school children about not making wrong decisions in their life. But he goes out in his convertible and he's got drugs all over the place and he gets caught and he wonders why he's going back to jail. Like, what is we gonna do? Anyway, that's just my opinion on everything that I talked about in the show. Thank you very much for watching the recap. I'll catch you guys next week.